The second harvest of the year is being prepared in these potato fields, a specialty of the Xylophagou region in the south of Cyprus. But water from the surrounding dams isn't enough to sustain crops. To compensate, farmers pump the subsoil via illegal wells.
Potatoes need a lot of water, so we create places to store water from our wells. Sometimes the water we draw from the wells is salty. To irrigate our crops with water, we mix it with dam water to reduce the proportion of salt.
Some 50,000 illegal wells have been identified in Cyprus. Over the years, they've contributed to the depletion of the country's aquifers. Among many other things, it's a headache for the authorities, for whom water management is a vital issue. It's also the subject of the European Action Plan on Water, which the Cypriot Presidency of the European Union, whose term ends in late December, wanted to make a priority. The semi-arid island is subject to recurrent droughts, and the reservoirs attached to the many dams built on the island cannot cope sustainably with the water needs of the population. Other solutions had to be found.
Although we have lots of dams in Cyprus, we store every drop of water. The system cannot cope. For this reason, we decided that we had to use water from non-conventional methods like desalination.
During the 2008 drought, millions of tons of water had to be imported from Greece by tankers. So as never to again find themselves in such a situation, the authorities staked everything on desalination plants that provide a portion of the water when the dams are dry. There are 5 on the island, including one under construction. It's a controversial solution as it's costly in energy and generates CO2. Plants also transfer large amounts of brine into the sea, which, as the environmentalists highlight, affects marine biodiversity. But it's the lesser of two evils for the boss of one of these plants.
Surely it's expensive, surely you have to produce electricity next door and you have some kind of pollution, etc. But your next alternative is to buy Evian or Pellegrino water or what? Or import it.
We should at least use clean energy, such as solar energy, to limit the damage, researchers recommend.
So this is Crete, this is Greece, Italy, and then of course Middle East, Northern Africa.
And in the face of global warming, which will cause increasingly important water demand in the driest areas, it's imperative to better manage existing resources.
I would say 2 things. One, try to find other energy sources for desalination. And secondly, and equally importantly, enhance water use efficiency. Rainwater harvesting, a much better urban drainage system and water retention system are other measures that I would strongly recommend.
Split between the Republic of Cyprus's Greek community in the south and Turkish Cypriots in the north, the population is 70% urban. This wastewater plant north of Nicosia, the capital, is being modernized. It's a project financed largely by the European Union and supported by the authorities of both communities to stop the nuisance caused by the old installation. Odors, poor quality of recycled water and contamination of the subsoil are some of the many evils that the new plant must solve. It will also store usable water for irrigating fields.
The new facility will produce 12 million cubic meters of water that can be used in all areas of agriculture. And alongside that, the most important thing is that we'll stop polluting the environment. Reservoirs and groundwater sources will no longer be contaminated.
A farmer, Murat is mayor of the village of Yayla, north of the island. 2/3 of orchards in this region, which is known for its citrus crops, were destroyed by the salt, he said.
There is no water here, and we are near the sea. We draw water from dried up wells and groundwater sources. Now all that comes is salt water. More than 30% of the orchards are farmable, but they're irrigated by water that must be transported from elsewhere. All our hopes now rest on the water to be brought in from Turkey.
Everyone here relies on what is called the project of the century, the construction of a submarine pipeline of more than 100 kilometers long, which will connect Turkey to northern Cyprus. The pipeline route should allow some 75 million cubic meters of water per year into the Geçiçköy Dam, where expansion work has begun. The project for the north of the island could be developed and water shared with the south, say the Turkish Cypriot authorities, who are not recognized by the international community. Any proposal cannot be considered without a political solution between the two communities, says the Greek side. Beyond any speculation, it's above all up to political leaders to be consistent, say the environmentalists. Measures taken to better manage water resources are often contradicted by economic interests unconcerned about the environment, said the head of the NGO, Terra Kypria.
For example, we made a political decision to develop 14 golf courses. Around the golf courses will be villas, it'll be hotels, it'll be condominiums, restaurants, swimming pools. Well, that is a use of water. We are sure that it's not a good decision. Desertification, I would say, is the biggest problem that we are going to face in the next few decades. What we can do is start taking steps now to ameliorate the problem and or to make sure that we adapt to it.
Climate change, population increase, urbanization, all factors of water scarcity, which Europe won't escape in years to come. The implementation of new measures to improve the use of water will be vital for millions of Europeans.